Awesome. Hey everyone. Tonight
I
on
don't think
Brain
we're there
Boost.
yet, are we?
Yes, we're live.
Oh, okay. Because it
Yeah,
still
tonight
says
we're
it's setting it up.
talking.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm still learning
Tonight
how to do this.
everything is working perfectly.
All
Everything is
right,
working and
awesome.
we're live. So tonight I'm so glad for anyone who's joining us to share that tonight we're going to share a tip on how to elevate your thinking in 17 seconds, and I'm here with my fellow certified transformational health and life coach George Englert. Hello.
Hi, how are you? It's great to see you, Johanna. I hope you had a very good week.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm excited to continue this series. So this is our fall series. If you haven't joined us before, we're sharing 10 things you can do to boost your brain, and really clear, simple, and easy actionable steps that you can implement in your everyday life, so that it doesn't matter how overwhelmed or tired you are, where you're starting from, you can take small action with us and progress for the 10 weeks, right? So if you want to boost your brain without overwhelm, stick with us. And yeah, let us know where you're joining from. If you're watching us live or whether you're watching the replay, leave us a comment. We love to see who's joining us and we love to have some comments. So drop and say hi. Yeah, so talking about, tonight's topic, elevating your thinking. So I think overall, just always thinking like crystal clear, being focused and staying positive, it can be really hard, right? There's many times I catch myself of like really gorging on negative thoughts one after each other, and until it's like full on paranoia, catastrophizing, and it's like kind of like a car crash. You indulge, you look at it, you can't stop. It's like horrific, but like, so let me know in the comments if you ever catch yourself doing that, or just indulging yourself in this negative spiral of thinking. Um, and so tonight we're going to share a very quick tool for you to elevate your thinking, so you'll not, be stuck with that. So before we go into that, I wanted to ask you, George, anything you wanted to share before we go into tonight's tip?
Yeah, absolutely. First, I want to say that I've been making a bit more of an effort to apply what we discussed last week, and I'm feeling a difference of how I feel. And so I'm looking forward to this week to see more of the same, especially like with the negative thinking. And I know you wanted to know, like, so where is negative thinking for you? And I know, like, for me, I often have like sometimes I just don't want change. I think I'm this person that wants to grow and wants change. And sometimes that inner, like, it doesn't like it. If I'm in a group of people and whatever's going on, it's a whole conversation. If somebody else comes, immediately I don't like it, because they're gonna mess up they're gonna mess up the formula, and whether it's just another person or another house is getting built in the neighborhood, I don't like it. It's gonna mess up the landscape, until I kind of settle into things. I gotta catch myself. So I'm looking forward to tonight.
Oh, awesome. Well, that's a great example of what we're actually talking about tonight. So here's what we're all working with up here, right? So 90% of our thoughts are subconscious, meaning they're automatic thoughts that we have. They just simply appear. We don't actively conjure them up. So 90% of our thoughts are subconscious, automatic. And the thing we're going to focus on tonight is that 80% of those thoughts are negative, right? So that's really a strong bias toward the negative that we all have, and this is something that is part of our evolution, development. It's just something that is part of us being human and how we developed. And this was, of course, useful at some point for us, but in today's modern world, um, this is really a hindrance to our well-being. So yes, of course, these negative thoughts, they still serve some purpose, but the ratio is so effed up. I mean, 80%, right? That it's a lot of these automatic negative thoughts. It's these incessant automatic thoughts that they make us feel constantly dissatisfied. We are regretting the past, or we're fearing the future, and we're just feeling miserable. We're feeling crappy. Um, Even though most likely everything in the right here and now is pretty okay, right? And we could just chill, think clear, and be focused, but we don't because we have this, tendency to the negative, right? And why this makes such a difference in our lives is that um, the bad feeling like crap, um, it, it creates more misery, right? Um, when you're in that state, it's really difficult to take action towards, shifting your experience into something more positive. Right? You feel like crap, you're not going to do the things that create positive results, right? Um, so these negative thoughts become self-fulfilling prophecies. So we ruminate, we revel in the unfavorable event happening or catastrophize. So when we do this, we're actually actively creating that outcome. So being led by negativity and fear, it's likely we'll procrastinate instead of taking action. So just being crippled thinking about that car crash in your life, like the imminent car crash or whatever, you're not going to be, in action toward the positive, right? So this could be not doing something because, oh, it won't work anyways. Oh, why even try? Or it could be, procrastinating until the last moment, for example, on a presentation you're giving or something. So, or half-assing something because you think it's going to go badly anyways. Why put in the effort, right? And so by having this negative spiral of thinking or this tendency into the negative, it impacts our behavior where we actually create those negative results, right? Maybe not the catastrophe, but still like it should, it impacts our behavior. So luckily, it works the same both ways. So to the positive as well. The same principle is true for positive and hopeful thoughts. So positive and hopeful thoughts become self-fulfilling prophecies as well, because they lead to positive actions and behaviors. And I think this is so cool that we can choose. But just recognizing that negativity bias, recognizing that you're prone to negative thinking as a human, and that is just the default setting, that is a really powerful way for you to elevate your thinking. So when you actively nurture more positive thoughts, it's one of the most powerful ways you can boost your brain, right? And anyone can do this. This is simple, easy, and fun. The really cool thing about this is that it's super fast, right? So it takes only 17 seconds for us to, when we hold this, direction of thought, whether negative or positive, we only have to hold it for 17 seconds until it gains momentum, until it shifts our direction of thinking. And so I love this, that you get to choose. So by guiding your thoughts in the direction of what you want, you get to choose your course, your direction, your results, right? You could go, and this, I mean, this happens sometimes. We can choose paranoia, and then we can, have the popcorn and, watch the horrific things unravel, the worst fears come untrue, watch that movie in our head. Or we can do the opposite. We could go to pronoia and we can be like, oh my God, what wonderful things will happen. Or we get to choose something in between. Like as the captain of our destinies, we get to choose our direction and we get to choose what we create from that, right? So let us know in the comments on the scale of paranoia and pronoia you find yourself most days, especially now during the pandemic, because it's been a wacky time. It's put a lot of extra stress on us. So yeah, let us know where you're at. I am, happy to admit that I find myself in the paranoia state like regularly, right? It's just like the stress that I've been under. I'm stressed, and then I'm like, oh, like I'm reveling in the car crash, right? It happens, right? So for all of us who want to boost our brain, like consciously choose something different, here are the 3 steps that you can do to elevate your automatic thinking, right? So you can open up to more effective and productive thinking, right? So step 1 in the system, you simply have to catch the negative thought. You simply have to become aware of it. You have to catch yourself in the act. It's happening, right? It could be a thought like, okay, there's a surprise package at the door. Maybe it's a shit bomb. Or the phone is ringing. Oh my God, I'm so sure it's bad news. or like things are going really great. When is the next shoe gonna drop, right? Before we go into step 2, if you, now we're talking about the 17 seconds, if you entertain such thoughts, they might spiral into something like this. And this is a different example. So the simple, non-judgmental observation here might be somebody who's on a date, on a blind date, and the blind date is late. So the observation is, my blind date is late, okay? And the automatic negative thought that we're likely to have, because we're human, is, oh my God, they must have seen me and thought I was hideous. And then it will spiral from there to ultimately, I will be alone forever. And so simply noticing this without judgment, okay, it's one of those negative thoughts. So this negativity bias that we have, your mind will produce these negative thoughts of fear, doubt, negativity 80% of the time if you don't consciously train it to do something different, right? So there's no judgment around having these negative thoughts. It's human, right? But just recognizing that this is something that's a reality, right? Okay, so step 2, once you caught yourself or caught the negative thought, the second thing is to challenge it, right? And one powerful question I love to challenge negative thoughts in myself and in my clients is, what else might be possible? So instead of a shit bomb, maybe it's a surprise present, or maybe it's just the wrong package that was meant to the neighbor if you're not expecting it. So ask yourself, a simple phrase, what else might be possible, right? That's one challenger question. And this is where you really get to transform and elevate your thinking. Like, what is the direction you want to take your life, right? How positive, will you invite yourself to think, right? So shift your thoughts to that direction, which is aligned with your desires, right? That is the invitation. Okay, and then the final step, you simply replace the thought with the positive thought that you have, the more positive thought, right? So you get to choose your level of positivity for the result that you want to have. So for example, you might think about an upcoming event that, oh, it's going to be a shit show. And you could transform that into, oh my God, it's going to be epic. And if it sounds like too positive, right, you can just go with something like, most likely it will be just fine. And even if not, I'm more than capable of handling it, right? So you get to choose of how positive you want to go, right? So that was the 3-step system. So to sum it up, catch the negative thought, be aware of it. Step 2, challenge it. What else might be possible? And then step 3, replace it with a more positive thought, right? So anyone watching us in the replay, I can't see, currently the stream and who's watching us. But share, both of us, we go, and look at all of the comments. We read the comments and respond to the comments. So, share a negative thought that you recently have. So I love sharing these because it kind of helps us all see what this, negativity bias does to us, because we have ridiculously negative thoughts, and to us, they might feel like it could be true, right? But then when you hear other people sharing the fears and the doubts, and they're like, oh my gosh, there's so much power in kind of like supporting each other. So share anything you feel comfortable with in the comments. And George, I know you also, you love this topic. So anything else you want to share on the negative?
Yeah, I love it. Thanks so much. And I know, like, for me, and I find with my clients, I often run into this issue of with anything, like what else might be possible, and so that's it. It's this is the way it is, and this is if we just look at this as a game, and just play with it, that this is a game that we could possibly win, and as a game, like, what is possible? Like, just play with it. And because the reality is, if you can Just play with what is possible. Say, you know, oh, I'm going to go to that job. It's going to effing suck. And I'm not going to like anybody there. What if you just thought about, you know what, there might be one guy or one gal that I'm going to fall in love with. Maybe I'm going to get married there. And maybe somehow I'm going to get a connection and this job is going to lead to riches. Just think about what it might possibly do. Yeah, guess what? You might be wrong in the end, but so what? This opens up our minds and it just opens up ourselves to something to be more positive. And that's reality of falling in love and getting married to somebody on a job and making millions and millions of dollars. It's probably not going to happen. I'm just going to say it like that. But the likelihood of you enjoying yourself and something good happening for you is much, much greater. And you're going to enjoy this ride of just, hey, what if I get married there and I'm going to make $1 million, right? You know, play lotto. Don't say I'm not going to win anyway. Every time I buy a lotto ticket, I'm thinking about what I'm getting, what's going to happen, what I'm going to do with it. I never won lotto, but it's more fun than I'm not going to win anyway. And to step back to your earlier step, when you said about catch yourself in the negative thought. Now, I know for me, not freaking easy. What are you talking about? Catch myself. You know, I had the negative thought. I'm already down the freaking rabbit hole. By the time I'm going to catch my thought now, yeah, screw that. I'm already down the rabbit hole. Well, maybe not screw that. Maybe when you're down the rabbit hole, you know what? I know it's easier to stay down the rabbit hole than it is to just, okay, let me stop this for a second and have some positive thoughts, but try it and be a little bit gentle with yourself. And I have to say this because this is very important for me to hear. If I don't catch myself, I don't catch myself because this is not my everyday, all the time practice yet. It's something I've been working at for a couple of years and I've been getting better at it all the time. And guess what? If it's something that you want to work on, you're going to get better at it. You're going to get better at catching yourself. And that first couple of times when you have a negative thought and you say, you know what, I'm going to go the other way here. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the baby little step that I would love to see people take.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Yeah, just, you know, the baby step of giving it a try, right? Trying to catch these thoughts and recognize this, you know, awareness around, okay, hey, this might be one of those, you know, automatic negative thoughts that aren't really real, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And I love that you shared that, you know, sometimes you go so deep into the spiral and you know, how
who wants to come out now, you know, and part of us, I think sometimes when we're down that rabbit hole, this is very important, people. We don't want to leave that rabbit hole because we created it and we want to be right about it.
Yeah.
And that's what they're talking about when they say, well, you want to be right or you want to be happy, which is more important to us.
Oh my God. So well
said. So we could be both. We could be both. You know, we could get out of there and have a positive, great looking rabbit hole, whatever you call that. It's not a rabbit hole, right? But have that be great. And what if we get to be right about that?
Worm loop.
Right? What if we get to be right?
Oh yeah, I love it because that is ultimately the key to infinite possibility, your ability to think it, right? I just want to share, you know, just as something that George and I, you know, we use with our clients and we use in our work, and just one of the basic foundations of if you catch yourself in that hole, use your breath, right? By calming your breath, you'll be able to calm your mind as well. So systematic, calm breathing, that's the kind of like the first step out of the spiral hole if you're like in full on like fight flight mode, like you've made yourself into that stress state, like so. And so this is it for tonight. So I'm curious to hear, what are we talking about next week?
Well, next week, I'm excited about it too. And we're going to look into some tools, really cool tools to keep our stress at bay.
Ooh, I love it. I could use some of that. So yeah, can't wait to see what's up next week. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. We'll catch you next week, next Sunday, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Cheers.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.